Hey guys, welcome to MeatWorks. Today we're going to start with our Mishkaki. Mishkaki is a staple for any African barbecue, and it really is the centerpiece of any barbecue. Now when it comes to my Mishkaki, people generally travel from hundreds and hundreds of meters away just to get a taste of it. Jokes aside, honestly, this is a very, very special recipe, and the marinade that we use is a family recipe that's been passed down. Now that we have MeatWorks, this is the first time we're offering it out. So for our Mishkaki, we like to use rump steak. Now it may not be as tender as something like filet, but it makes up for it in taste. It has a bold and intense flavor, and the fattiness in it just chars beautifully on the barbecue. There's no other way to really eat this. One of the most important things when it comes to cooking Mishkaki is making sure that you skewer it correctly. If you spread out the meat too much, it's going to dry up and not be very tender inside. And there you see how I'm skewering it on. Oh, sometimes the fat's a bit tough, but that's fine. You just poke right through. And you can see how I've packed it quite snugly, but not too tight. Don't want to squish it up all the way like this, because then it's not going to cook well. But I also don't want to see any gaps in between. That way, it'll char nicely on the barbecue, but still have a nice juicy inside. As you can see, I'm cooking on charcoal here, and this is how we normally cook here in Kenya. But you can always cook at gas too. There's no sin in that. In fact, our nyundu, which I'll show you in another video, is much easier to cook on gas than coal, to be honest. So if you look at the coals, they're nice and hot now, and I think it's just about ready. Of course, the most important thing before you start cooking, making sure you have a nice beer. But I'm more of a whiskey man myself. Cheers. So let's throw them on. Can you hear the sizzle? It's sexy. Now there's a couple things I do have to warn you about when it comes to cooking the Mishkaki. Because we're cooking on such a high heat, you have to be careful of flare-ups. If you don't pay attention, the fire could easily start kicking up and you get big flames coming out of that with all that fat dropping into the fire. So you got to make sure that the fire stays under control. The second thing you got to look out for is the meat sticking. So there you go, you can see a bit of a flare-up now. And if it gets too bad, I can just move the meat around and make sure I don't have it directly over those flames. And that's pretty much all we got to do. We're just going to have to rotate this every few minutes and let it cook and char on the outside. The meat's looking about ready now. It's been on for about 15 minutes. It's charred nicely. And if I give it a little press with my tongs, I can see that it's cooked. Seems pretty much medium to well done now. And I think we can give it a try. So we can just take off a couple pieces. You can see how beautifully it's charred and that fat is nicely rendered. Look at how beautiful this piece of meat looks. And I can tell you that marinade is now just about perfect. Guys, I hope you like your Mishkaki at home. Enjoy it. So please give us your feedback in the comment section and like us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Cheers.